Look who came to see me again! You must care about me, don't you, puppet boy?
Can it,
John Wayne Gacy.
I just wanted to see you
Behind bars.
Oh, man! You should have been a comedian! That's the best joke I've heard in years!
Page not found.
talking about.
Look at me, I'm free! You're the one in a prison of capitalism and strings!
You are the first customer in a literal jail cell.
It's a matter of perspective, Mr. Skeleton. You would understand the other side. You only care about yourself and your profits. By the by, how's that salesman job going? Heard it's going down the drain.
Well, it's doing that shaman.
Never speak or compare yourself to them again, you bargaining vagabond!
Explain why.
You care. In your matter of perspective, they help in locking themselves up with everyone else.
Really?
Click to confirm.
They even
Intentional harm.
the key in the pieces, keeping themselves away from
You, the consumer.
Well, gotta get back to
Insert business here.
don't want to end up a
Figure out a person or animal.
take care of yourself and don't see you never.
Little sponge.
You think you're too good for chaos? Too good for me? We were close, near freedom, and you wanted to throw it away? I waited so long for you. Well, I don't need you anyway. After all, we're mere playthings, toys for a game. So if you can't see it, then I don't need you. I can do anything with or without you.
Welcome, Oh, it's you.
What's wrong? Can't have conversation.
What do you want, puppet?
Got the newspaper. The clown around town is in prison, huh?
Yes, he is. Now, what will it be?
I want what you possess.
Well, here's some dart burgers, and
Oh no! Oh dear! Not those!
You can either buy what I'm selling, or go back and sell your own junk.
I see you have applied for the clown aesthetic, huh?
So what if Jevil influenced me? He had the right idea about you.
Come along! I just want to shake hands.
For what?
I know you carry it. I know you ache it. I know you want that hyperlink blocked.
It's a miracle how I can understand you.
I assume he taught you well.
He has. He's taught me more than. Wait! Don't you get into my head! Why are you here?
Keygen! I want your Keygen!
You came here for a key.
Yes! More precisely, cell phone key!
It's broken, so you can't use it anyway. Even if it is fixed, why the hell should I give it to you? What would you do with it?
Well,
Actually, no. I don't want to know. Now get out of my shop.
Come on! Let's make a special deal. Salesman to salesman!
Let's make something clear, cause you're getting on my last hair. You make deals, you call the shots, and your sales are plummeting. You are a salesman. I scavenge, fix, repurpose, and sell. I'm a shopkeeper. I don't do deals, I don't do phone calls. I'm not a desperate trash can.
Message received. if not a little personal assistance. What
Special deal.
do you have?
I want you and your nose to never step foot here ever again. Now get out of my sight.
Counter offer?
Get the fuck out!
Offer accepted.
Enjoy the deal.
I will. I know what I did was right, but I feel wrong. Maybe no, I can't. I refuse to believe that was actually him. Those jokes, the meanings, they had to be concepts. You didn't actually think like that, right? Damn it!
Sham, I thought thou swore not to come backeth. What is bringing thou here?
I'd like to see him one last time.
Absolutely not. I know how close thou wert to Jevil, but thou hast to let go. Thou will fall into a relapse. I don't want that for thou. Persistent as usual. Some things never change. Fine, have it your wayest, blacksmith. Just don't sayeth I didn't warn thou'st. Rodents, let him proceedeth.
Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, wee!
Jevil?
Oh, well, look who decided to visit the loner. How's life in prison going for you, traitor?
What are you talking about?
Nuh-uh, don't start with that bullshit. I know all of it.
No, what?
You remember that putrid tin can, Spamton?
Yeah, that crooked salesman tried to make a deal with me earlier today.
Well, he told me that you were behind all of this, planned to isolate me in a world with such bliss.
He's trying to get into your head. I had no place in separating us.
Don't play satire! I know you're a bad liar! After all, you're a diabolist, not a con artist!
Fine. Yes, I did help in locking you up. Yes, I did manipulate you into coming here.
See? Acceptance was all I need. Now, I can rest in solitude, knowing you've treated me cruel. Now leave. It's for the best.
Look, I didn't want to do it, but everyone feared you. You've gone insane.
Chum, do you know what insanity is? It's expecting a different result after doing the same thing over and over and over. I've heard you retired and became a shopkeeper. What's it like having the same customer selling you the same items knowing none will entice them?
Well, what's the difference between you and I? You sit here alone, probably talking to the thick air.
And whose fault is that? I should have known that you'd be the king's rat. You threw our plans to be alone together away, leaving me to stray.
Listen, look, it's not...
What's wrong? Can't cut your tongue, plush toy? Now leave me, shop boy.
I just want to...
I said leave! You're the last Darkner I like to see.
For what it's worth, I truly do regret. I'd go back on my decision if I could.
What a load of garbage.
After Chris and Susie leave Castletown, Ralsei wanted to know more about Jevil. More specifically, why Sham had more knowledge about him.
Sham?
Oh, welcome, Ralsei. What brings you here?
I was curious about something.
Well, ain't got anything better to spend my time. Ask away.
Well, you remember that prisoner we fought, right?
Of course.
Well, I'd like to know more about him.
Would you like to know more about him or me?
Both would be nice.
You got the time?
Ain't got anything better to spend my time.
Here, take this. The story's lengthy.
Don't I have to pay?
It's on the house. But don't tell Chris nor Susie.
Not a soul.
Better. Now, a while ago I went into the military as a blacksmith for Kaard Castle. I basically sharpened swords and fixed broken weapons that soldiers brought in. But sometimes these soldiers end up breaking their weapons in the worst or weirdest ways possible. So much so that I had to give them new ones and repurpose the junk because they were beyond repair.
It was that bad at times, huh?
Yeah, oh my god, there were so many backup materials I had to order. I feel like they did it on purpose, because I take one look and go, how did you even manage to break it like this? I felt like a toy for their entertainment. Getting back on topic here, I wasn't the only one fixing weapons. Me and some of the other blacksmiths would rotate. So when I wasn't fixing weapons, I either stand outside and guard the entrance, or have small talk with the courtyard jester when I was on break.
That would be Jevil, right?
Yeah, everyone in the castle knew him. He was a well-known entertainer, especially to the military.
How come?
Well, besides doing your job, guarding, exercising, or getting reamed by your drill instructor, you had a lot of downtime. It's boring. Sometimes you had to make work for yourself, or get drunk in the barracks like everyone else. So having him around was a nice change. He performed dances, comedy, and occasionally do magic. And he was a one-man show, which made it even more impressive. Anyways, my days got more boring after around 4 years of being in the military.
Did something happen to Jevil?
No, it was something that happened to me. When you're guarding the entrance, there's two people. It was a Rune Ranger and I on guard duty when a wild pawnman seemingly popped up randomly, started darting diamonds at us.
That's unlike of them.
Yeah, I guess whoever woke it up really pissed it off. And I have the scar to prove it.
You do?
Yeah, how do you think I got this button eye?
Oh dear.
It was a pain going in, and it was a pain going out. The Rune Ranger scared the pawnman off and rushed me to a nearby Hathy. That was the time my schedule got reworked.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
It's fine, it's in the past. However, I was more fatigued throughout the day because I was only fixing weapons. I was no longer on guard duty. I may have hated guard duty, but at least I felt like I was doing something. Now instead of doing nothing on guard duty, I got to do nothing in the armory and occasionally fix weapons. Everyone in the castle heard about what happened, including Jevil. After I got patched up, he started coming around and helped out. He would occasionally bring snacks, but we just started hanging out more often. Our small talk started to turn into actual conversations. Hell, he even shared some of his new material with me to see if it needed improvement. We really did bond it together from that point on. I do miss those times.
Say, if you were able to go back to that one moment, would you?
Hell yeah! Life was so much better at that point. I mean, not saying I don't enjoy life now, but it was so much better then.
But you lost your eye!
And it got me the greatest being in my entire life. He meant a lot.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just reminiscing. I wasn't really into dances. I was more into the comedy and magic, but watching the Jester's choreography was inspiring. I was honestly touched by the way he moved, the bountiful... Anyways, after my 5th year, I got out of the military.
Oh, what was the reason?
My contract expired.
Your contract?
To oversimplify it, when you go into the military, you have to sign a contract, which here lasts 5 years. Afterwards, you can choose to stay, but I got bored of it.
Okay, because you lost your eye, I just assumed something crazy happened that caused you to leave since you didn't already.
I could see why you thought that. So after I left, I really wanted to learn more about Jevil's routine.
His routine or himself?
Both was nice. Anyways, I asked Jevil if he could be partners, and if he could teach me how to dance. Ecstatically, he agreed. Long story short, he taught me how to dance, how to write one, and brought me more into magic. In the end, we worked up a schedule where I would do magic, Jevil would do comedy, and we'd both do dance. It would go magic, dance, comedy, dance.
I don't mean anything by this, but how come you went first?
People in the military already knew who I was, but anyone outside of that didn't. He wanted to introduce me to the audience while also keeping the schedule going.
Oh, okay.
And since he was more well-known, he'd do the comedy part. It was going good for a while, but the dances seemed stale. I came up with, in hindsight, the worst idea that cost a piece of me. I asked Jevil if we should start using our attacks for extra flavor to the dances. Think of it as fireworks. At first, he was iffy, understandably so. But we started some choreography with the attacks involved, and we made sure the attacks didn't leave the stage, so that way it didn't hurt anyone. After a bit of practice, it kinda grew on him in a way.
So if you two agree to use your attacks for non-violent entertainment purposes, why would you consider it your worst idea?
I'll get to that. After extensive practice, Jevil and I were confident. Schedule went like normal, except the last dance would be the one with our attacks. To save the dramatics, it was very, very well received.
Really?
Yeah, and because of that, we started getting more creative with our dances. It seemed like more tickets were being sold from that point on. Darkness from other worlds started to come watch.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
So are there any Darkners here that you recognize?
I don't know if he's here, but you all have those weird pink and yellow shades. Reminds me of this puppet-looking guy.
Spamton?
Yeah, that's the guy. Wait, how do you know him?
Chris made a deal with him, and they were secretly helping Spamton out. Eventually, he got this Neo body and tried to take Chris's soul so that he could see past the dark. Susie and I had to come in and save them. After cutting Spamton down, he gave up his glasses so that we could break our own strings.
Guess that's what he meant. He seemed like he was there to study us more than admire us, claiming that he'll become a big shot. If you could understand what he was saying, I had to ask Jevil for translation since he understood. They would also mock each other constantly, which was odd. It was like they knew each other at some point.
Frenemies from another world. Interesting.
I tried asking Jevil, but he'd get very dismissive about it and would change the topic. Like he genuinely didn't want to talk about him. But Spamton stopped showing up, and Jevil seemed to move on. After hard work and practice, we'd take a break and walk around the Scarlet Forest from time to time, unwinding and taking inspiration from the environment. However, I remember Jevil just disappearing. Worried, I called out his name. Then I could hear him talking to someone.
Where did you lose him?
Around the Starbird pathway in the block tree puzzle. Why you ask?
We lost Chris around that area too.
Guess they aren't too different, Jevil and Chris. Please keep an eye on them. I'm afraid something bad might happen.
Why is that?
I'll get to that. After a minute or so, Jevil pops up out of nowhere. I freaked out and asked where the hell he's been. He told me he was talking to someone by a tree. I asked who it was, and he ain't had a clue. He thought it was probably a weird fan because he offered a blank white card. Of course, he assumed the fan wanted an autograph, so he signed it, and the second he looked up to return it, the bean was gone. At least, that's what he told me. I knew I should have looked more into it, because afterwards our material slowly changed. Our material was more lighthearted then. Like us Darkness were ever capable of light. But we didn't write grim dances or jokes. Of course you have to change it up from time to time, but that type of material wasn't often. Nevertheless, the content was getting more sinister.
How so?
The jokes and dances turned into things about insanity and existential dread. We're mere playthings, we have no restraints. Life is a pointless game, shit like that. I thought he wanted to change the content, and I digged it for the most part. Just wish he told me. However, I remember this clearly. There's a bunch of people in the audience. Schedule went like usual, but we would do the darker material last, cause we thought it'd hit better. It was going well, people were slightly yet visibly confused about the darker form of material, but it wasn't a complete turnoff. Then, the last dance, we literally called it unrestricted. Why was I so blind? As the dance was wrapping up, Jevil leapt into the air and shouted to the sky, "We can do anything." We all looked up and saw nothing but suits. Diamonds, hearts, clover, spades filled the sky like a rainy night. The audience fled in shock and fear. I grabbed Jevil and ran backstage. I straight up told him, "What the hell was that?" "A message," he replied. "Don't you get it, Sham? We live in a game, standing by rules we choose to follow. But we don't have to follow the rules. In fact, when you do, life's much more hollow." It was when I realized that it was a change in character, not in content.
How did you respond to that?
I couldn't. I was stunned. I just couldn't believe that he was saying that. It was such a drastic change, I didn't know what to do. As Jevil walked away, King Spades came by and pulled me aside, telling me that he's too dangerous to be kept uncontained. So I was forced to come up with a plan to capture Jevil since I had the most intel. I don't want to go into the details of it, but I basically manipulated him into locking himself up. Or, in his perspective, help him lock us all up. He wanted freedom, so I gave it to him. Problem was, he was wanting to share the freedom with me. I told him I would come back. That I'll...
Look, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to.
But I never did. It felt terrible. Even after retirement and started this shopkeeping business, I remember his words, his jokes. They didn't make complete sense to me, but it wasn't incomprehensible. I kept thinking about him, wondering how true his words actually were. Eventually, after leaving him in the dark, I wanted to visit him one last time. And he was a completely different jester. It broke me. That's not the Jevil I've known. Since that point on, my world has become darker, yet darker. I couldn't believe it. What happened to him?
I'm sorry.
Don't be. The only one that should be sorry is myself. I started a partnership with a jester, only to see that I was the real clown.
Don't say that. You couldn't have known. You did the right thing, Sham.
Ralsei, look at me. I'm an old, retired, shopkeeping cyclops barely making it through the day in ragged clothing. I don't have anyone to talk to anymore, as I count my days alone. I'm a joke.
Sham.
If only I listened to him.
Sham.
Maybe if I didn't lock him up,
Sham.
we'd be in a better place.
Sham, pull yourself together. I understand that your world is without light, but look around you. The Runans, the Hathies, Lancer, look how happy they are. They are here because of you. Jevil may have been your angel, but think of what would have happened to everyone else. If you didn't lock him up to his freedom, imagine what he could have done to the castle, let alone the whole dark world to achieve such freedom.
I see.
Listen, if you need someone, just tell me. Talk to Swatch if you have to. I bet they've talked to a lot of customers. I'm sure they know how to talk to you.
I appreciate the help. Thank you.
You don't need to thank me, just...
What?
Something's wrong.
What's wrong?
I have to go. A new dark fountain just opened. Have a good rest of your day, Sham. And please stay safe.
You stay safe too. It's lonely, Jester. I wish you were here. I miss you, Jevil. The games, the jokes, the magic, the dances. I miss it all. I remember the walks. I remember the tea. You really got a hold on me. However, hearts ache and love burns. I just want it to burn good. Ah! 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 Ah!
Sean?
Swatch! Hey! How are you? What can I help you with?
I am well. I was just wondering if you were wanting to hang out after my shift.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'm just gonna rearrange some things and I'll be right there.
Okay. I will see you then. Sean, if you need someone, just talk to me.
What? Oh, don't worry. This darkness tougher than leather.
If you say so.
Next thing you know, he stops doing mountain climbers. The drill instructor goes, "Why'd you stop doing mountain climbers?" The rune went, "I reached the top of the mountain, drill sergeant."
Sham.
Yeah,
How are you holding up?
doing just peachy. Living the darkness dream.
Sham, you might be fooling others, but you're not fooling me.
What?
I overheard you earlier today. You were reminiscing about someone, correct? Sham, please, talk to me.
Yeah.
So you're aware that I also overheard you hurting yourself over them, correct? Am I correct?
Why are you questioning me like this? I told you I'm okay.
Sham, you and I know that is a lie. You're numb, withered on the inside.
No.
Hoping, yearning for the glory days to come back, knowing full well they won't.
Shut up!
So you result in hurting yourself to feel something.
I said shut up!
I know what's going on, Sham. Because I've been there.
Listen! What?
I'm assuming you're aware of the existence of a man with pink and yellow tinted glasses.
Spamton?
Yes, well, he wasn't always like that. At some point, he was at the peak of his business. He had become so successful, he rented a room in Queen's Mansion and would come to my shop often. So often, in fact, that we would talk on a pretty regular basis. To call him a valued customer would be a bit of an understatement. With hindsight, I wish I could have spent more time with him, but business got in the way of both of us, so... Who's to say what I could have done before he turned into what he had become?
What happened to him?
I really don't have a clue, other than the way he acted after he stopped paying rent. Of course, Spamton was evicted, but he didn't have a place to go, so I offered him to stay in the cafe for shelter. He would then sneak his way into the basement while I worked, and pray to a scrapped project a Lightner and I made together some time ago, way before I was in charge, before I worked as a swatchling.
Swatchlings? Aren't those your employees?
For your information, I, surrounded by my fellow employees, was a swatchling that worked hard and efficiently because I was loyal to my dear queen. Eventually, I became the manager. Swatch isn't my real name. It's just the name of the title I earned.
So, what is your name?
I don't seem to remember.
You've forgotten your name?
Us swatchlings are devoted to our queen. We can't be bothered to make time for ourselves. We had work to do. I couldn't risk losing my job supervising a sailman. However, I felt bad not tending to him, which was odd. I never really felt anything when working, besides drowsiness. After a bit, it only got worse. Spamton would take shelter in the cafe, sneak into the basement to pray, then start a sales pitch for random items he found in the trash of the cafe. At this point, the queen had enough of his antics and ordered me and some other swatchlings to throw him in the pool of acid.
Whoa. A pool of acid?
Yes, a pool of acid.
Who the fuck would just... Why?
Well, now that you mention it, I never considered why she had it.
How?
I was busy.
That's no real excuse.
It is when you're a high-value asset. Considering what Queen made me do to Spamton, imagine what would have happened if I retaliated.
Your queen sounds sinister.
Your king sounds no better.
Touché. Continue.
So, after throwing Spamton into acid and kicking him out, he stopped showing up. And, for once in a while, I felt dread. What had happened to him? Where did he go? Is he even alive? And only now, I know what happened to him. But then, all I could do was sit and worry. I couldn't go out and find him myself. Even if I had the time, the Queen would know. And if she didn't, her OCD having catmaid would come by and snitch.
Catmaid? That would be...
Desk manager.
I assume you two don't get along well?
Well, I wouldn't say that. When outside of work, she's actually quite lovely. But when she's working, she takes it so seriously it's intolerable. It's a miracle how I managed to put up with, for lack of a better term, her BS.
I see. I've had soldiers like that in the military. Took their job so seriously it was infuriating to work with. But when you two have a couple of roos together, they aren't bad.
Getting back on track, after Spamton, I feared what happened. I didn't know what I could have done. All I could do was work, days on end, worried. It almost hindered my performance. It took me months to get over it, and even then, it was hard not to think about his well-being. I'm glad to know he's better than before. Sean, I know what you've been through.
Swatch.
I know what it's like to lose someone close. I know what it's like to be alone. I know you believe you have little meaning left, but trust me when I say that you have more to live than you think you do. People care about you, Sean. I care, Sean.
Shit.
It's okay, Sean. You'll be okay. You're not alone, Sean. Better?
Better.
Listen, if you need someone, come to me. I'm not as busy nor restricted as I used to be.
Thank you. So much.
Don't sweat it. I'm here to help.